Welcome to Trey's Theory Corner!
What's up, dear mortals? Trey Xavier here. Welcome to episode 3 of Trey's Theory Corner. We are here in the corner office to talk about a very important concept in music theory. Last time we talked about the idea that there are only 12 notes that you have to work with, okay? So now we're going to break it down even a little bit further to the next sort of level of organization for notes and music in general. And that's the idea or the concept of a scale or key. Now, scale and key don't mean exactly the same thing, but they're both basically collections of usually 7 notes. A scale can have more or less than 7 notes. It can have sometimes 9, sometimes something like 5 or even 4. But a key always has 7 notes. We're going to stick with the idea that it's 7 notes for the time being. There are a lot of exceptions, but for right now, we're going to use just 7, okay? So we went from 12, that's all the notes, down to 7, which is in general the most common number that you'll have to deal with at any given moment in a song, okay? Songs can change keys, use different scales, but at any given vertical slice of time in a song, there's pretty much what's called the tonality going on. The idea that a distinctive sound is created by using different combinations of these 7 notes. The most common of these we call the major scale, okay? So what the hell is the major scale? Like every other scale, it's pretty much just a collection of intervals, okay? An interval is just the distance from one note to another, okay? There's lots of different intervals. I won't go into them just yet, but because we're looking at it from the top down, from a larger collection of notes, the interval is the smallest collection of notes that you can have aside from just one note, right? Any 2 notes that are not the same note have relationship to each other. A scale, we have 7 notes, and so of course the many relationships, the myriad of intervals that exist in between them are what we can exploit to make a song, a solo, any piece of music you like. They're all derived from this idea of a scale. So that's why I'm presenting that to you first. Isn't that right, Yoda?
Yes, true it is.
See, Yoda's smart. Be like Yoda. Agree with Trey. So like I said, the most common, sort of the entry-level basic idea is the major scale. You've heard it a billion times before. Maybe you didn't really think of it as being a scale like that starts on one note and just climbs up the scale to the last one, okay? That's sort of a very basic way to present it. I will play one for you now just so that you can hear what I'm talking about, but it's not always going to be like this, okay? So this is going to be a tool to help you understand and analyze the sounds that you're hearing and the things that you're probably playing. The human ear sort of naturally gravitates towards major scale, major key based sounds, okay? Or the minor equivalent, which still uses the same note relationships and intervals, just shifted a certain amount, which we'll talk about later. The most important thing that I want you to learn from this is that every major scale, and there are 12 of them, not including ones that are the same but have different names, which we will go over. The relationships between the notes in every major scale are exactly the same as any other major scale, okay? This is kind of hard to see on a lot of different instruments, but not on the guitar. So that's why I'm kind of enjoying being a guitar player, because a lot of this stuff is a lot easier to break down on the guitar. Scales on the piano, the saxophone, the didgeridoo, they look very different. But Every scale on the guitar that's the same kind of scale looks exactly the same, just moved up and down the neck. So like, okay, here's the G major scale. Here's the G sharp major scale. Here's the A major scale. A sharp major scale. Okay, you can see that they're all the same. You can hear that they're the same. I just kept moving up, of course. So if we take the note names out of the equation entirely, every scale of the same kind, i.e. major scale, Lydian, mode, whatever, each one of those will be identical to the others, because then we're looking at it as just a series of intervals. So in order for me to demonstrate this to you, you have to know what is a whole step and what is a half step. So these are two small increments of space in music, distance from one note to the next. Okay, on the guitar, super simple. A half step is just the distance from one fret to the next. Okay, on the piano, it's the distance between one key and the very next one. It's just the distance between two notes that are closest together that they can possibly be. There's no note in between them. A whole step is just two half steps. So, in order to make a major scale, the formula is always the same. It's always the same. Never changes, okay? If somebody tries to tell you otherwise, you should do this.
Shame.
It's always the same. What is the formula? From whatever note you start on, now the name of your scale, you go whole step, half step, whole step, whole step, whole step, half step. Whole, half, whole, half. Sounds like a song coming on to me. Whole, half, 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 whole, half. Try and get that shit out of your head. So now I'll show you what it looks like and sounds like, all right? So we're gonna start on a G for the moment. Okay. And then we're gonna go from there up a whole step, and then a whole step, and then a half step, whole, half. Okay. It is an absolute mathematical certainty. If you do that, you get a major scale 100% of the time, okay? It's not really theory. Theory is kind of a nice way of putting it, because that's true 100% of the time, no matter what country on earth you go to. Let's pick another note. How about a B flat, okay? Now we'll go half, half. Shabam, we're back at a B flat.
Oh my god, you're a wizard!
Not a wizard, it's very simple. This might seem really super basic to you, and I'm seriously not trying to talk down to you. Please believe me that I am not trying to be condescending. I just want to show you in a way that probably your private lesson instructor, or maybe your music teacher in elementary school or high school or whatever, didn't really present it to you this way, okay? Because there's a lot of dogma in music education, and there's a lot of just bad ways that people go about it. And a lot of terrible teachers out there who don't simplify it enough.
Shame.
I'm breaking it down for you into the smallest little pieces so you can just nibble. We're going to learn what you actually are going to do with each of these scales, okay? So please be sure to stick around to get there, because that's going to be the absolute most interesting part. But for right now, I want you to understand the symmetry of music, okay? The symmetry. Very, very important. Every major scale consists of the same formula. Every harmonic minor scale is the same formula every time, okay? There's nothing to be scared of. You can totally learn this stuff and never forget it. Thank you so much for watching. Please be sure to check back in for our next update, and if you subscribe, you'll get it just deposited into your subscriptions on YouTube, and you won't have to go searching for it. So isn't that not much better? I will see you guys in 2 weeks, okay? Peace out. What the fuck is music theory? If you already know the answer, please don't shout it out, because because you look like a crazy person at home by yourself.